Hello, my name is Ronel Zapata. He's Daniel Carrera, and we're taking a quick break in the Houston office. Work hard, play hard. Woohoo!
Welcome to our 9th workflow video. In this video, Tim will be talking about a well test workflow that is currently being used by one of our clients.
Thank you guys, and as I said, today we'll be discussing a well testing workflow. So a well test is basically the isolation of a well from its peers to allow us to measure production and obtain accurate rates. Now these well test results can be used in a number of ways. First, they help us fulfill our regulatory requirements for production reporting. They're used to help us allocate production back to the wells. The well test can be used to validate well models and forecasts. And the well test can also help us diagnose potential well problems that may not have been obvious when the well is commingled at the surface. So a number of factors that influence the results of a well test, both internal and external to the well. Things like power fluctuations, back pressure changes, mechanical upsets at the surface, all impact the flow rates during the testing period. So for this reason and others, it's difficult at times to obtain an accurate representation of the well's performance. So OVS, with one of our clients, deployed a well testing workflow to help mitigate some of these problems. The well testing workflow automates the collection of certain well test results and provides the engineers with a user interface to help them analyze and determine if the well test is representative of the well's actual performance. Let's go have a look at this workflow.
Let's begin by looking at a couple of field configuration. Some of this client's wells have their own dedicated flow meters and separators. The system is continuously taking measurement. Therefore, the well is effectively always on test. The position of the flow meters relative to the separator may vary, of course, based on the type of meters or certain operational constraints. Other wells share a testing system. There's an automated multi-port where the well's production flows. The system can direct production to test meters or test separator, or send the production directly to bulk separators. In this case, multiple wells, say from the same pad, can be tested using the same equipment. When not being tested, the wells are commingled at the surface. Here, the flow lines show in green which wells are currently under test. In the first case, where each well has a continuous measurement, multiple time periods can be used as a well test. Here you see a chart showing flow rates for multiple wells through the same testing system. Periods of appropriate length and stability could be used as a well test. Now let's have a look at how OVS helps engineers select and improve test quality. Here we see the well test selection workflow. Every recent well test is listed. The system is configured to detect automatically when a well has been on test and perform certain quality checks. Let's choose a specific well. For this well, we see the last 5 well tests recorded. 3 of them are valid, 1 is invalid, and the most recent one is pending. It is pending because it is waiting for an engineer to verify the test. For this field, every well test must be validated by the engineer. The workflow also supports auto-approval, if desired, based on the quality of the test. Let's look at the pending test. Here we see the entire length of the test, with the first 15 and last 15 minutes deselected by rule to remove any valve switching noise in the data. The well test values average over the length of the test have been calculated, and I can also see how those values compare with previous tests. Let's look at the previous test by selecting the validation mode. Here we see the history of well tests with our current test as the last point. This gives us confidence that the current test is on trend with previous tests. Upon inspection, I as the engineer may not be comfortable with the noisy signature at the second half of this test. I have the option to edit the well test period, which you're seeing here. While I'm selecting the data, the system will let me know if the edits violate any of the test guidelines, such as too short of a test period. The test values are recalculated based on this new selection, and as the engineer, I can commit the new values by selecting Save. Now the most recent test data shows as valid. Now let's change to a different well. Here we see a well with multiple testing periods. 3 of them are valid and 1 is invalid. The user can inspect each period and make changes. The average of the valid ranges will be used to determine the results of the well test. The workflow can also be configured to create new well tests for each range if desired. This workflow is implemented directly with the client to achieve certain operational goals. The project resulted in the automating of the collection of well test data and applying general engineering rules to provide guidance. It reduced the time to validate each well test. The quality of the well test data was improved, which led to a general increase in confidence in the data. Because of this improved efficiency and increased confidence, production engineers and operators were able to see daily production reports earlier. Since the initial implementation, this workflow has expanded to 2 additional business units with similar results. OVS Group would like to thank you for joining us for this 9th video in our series on well test selection. We look forward to hearing from you. If you're interested in this workflow or any other workflows you have seen, please reach out to us at our website or via the email below. Thank you again.